T.O.Gs. They're out here on a lovely late winter ride here in Northern California, out on the 2014 Harley-Davidson Dyna Switchback. And you know, I've owned this bike now for a few months. I thought I would give you guys my likes, my dislikes, and my overall impressions of owning the Dyna Switchback. An early review. I don't, and if you guys haven't watched the video, I'll make sure I'll put a link up here for you guys to check that out. This isn't a long term. I don't plan on having this bike for a long time, but if you are interested in checking out a Dyna Switchback, I'll give you guys my my breakdown of what I do and don't like about this motorcycle. After owning for a few months, like I said, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do like a long review because I don't know how long I'm going to have this motorcycle. So this is the review that you guys are going to get, and hopefully you guys find it helpful. If you find it helpful, end up liking this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on there at any time. So, number one thing about this motorcycle that is a bit of contention with me is the windshield. I like the way the windshield looks. I like that it's protecting me from the wind. I rode this bike quite a bit during the winter time, and having this thing break the wind from hitting me right in the chest, I didn't always feel like I had to wear a cold weather jacket during the winter because this was blocking a lot of wind. But what it is also doing at the same time, and this is something that I have not been a big fan of in the past, and if you watch any of my videos, you know this, is the buffeting. It's something that I will say I have gotten used to, but I still don't like it. I can't stand the buffeting. You know, after riding for so long, it starts giving me a headache. It's just something that if I had a choice between a windshield and maybe just this like front fairing, kind of like you find on like the road, not the Road Glide ST, kind of like the Road Glide ST, but the Lowrider ST that has that cool fairing in front that doesn't have a windshield. I would rather the wind hit me higher in the chest than having it blowing like right off the top of my head. It's just something that is a preference for me, and to each their own. If you're a rider and you don't mind wind buffeting that's hitting you right at the top of the head and shaking your brains, then cool. But it is not something that I'm a big fan of. It's probably my biggest gripe about owning this bike is the buffeting. Now when I'm riding around town, which is what I do a lot, if I'm just taking this to go to rehearsal or something, or I don't commute to work anymore because I work from home, but when I am just riding around town doing errands or whatever, it's fine. I love the way it looks, and I think that you know, like I said about the blocking the wind, that's good too. My point of contention number two is it's not about the risers and the riding position, because I actually do really like this riding position. It's very comfortable, but what I've noticed, and I'll have to make an adjustment here, I think probably I'll end up doing this today, is this if you can tell, it looks like the handlebars are starting to come back. I don't know if it's been like that the whole time, but I know that I used to be able to see more out of these mirrors. I also don't know if it has to do with the risers that feel like they're kind of, if you look at that, it looks like they're coming back towards me, and if I push them out, now I can see out of my mirrors much better. So I don't know if I need to make an adjustment, or I can make an adjustment in moving this whole unit with a mirror on both sides, because also if you look at this should be level. You can see corrosion here. I don't know if this was just because somebody who owned the bike before overfilled it and didn't end up wiping this off, so there's some corrosion from the brake fluid around this, or if it's just because it's seeping out because it's not level. This should be level, so we're gonna make that adjustment. I don't know if it's something because of the risers, or who fit these risers before, or who put these the controls back on, but it's something that I've noticed, and something that's kind of bugs me, because whenever I ride this on the highway, when I ride it around town, it's not so bad, but I think the extra addition of the wind blowing against the handlebars, and me holding on and pulling them back a little bit, just makes it hard to see out of the mirrors, and it's just, and again, this is not good. This should be level. This the master cylinder here for the brake fluid. So one of the other things that, and this isn't necessarily about me, but when I ride with my wife, she has noticed that the seat, and this is more of a complaint about the seat, because the stock seat I'm sure would not have this problem because it's pretty flat in the back. But the Lapera seat that I have on this bike, which there's a link in the description for you guys who like the look of this seat. It's super comfortable for me. I really like the seat, but my wife, when we ride, she says it feels like that little bump up in the back either pushes her forward where she's kind of not in a super comfortable position. She says the padding is great, but that little bump also, when we put the backrest on, makes it so that she feels like she's in this awkward position. If she wants to use the backrest and kind of rest against the back, that bump is hitting her right in the butt, and so that's not super comfortable. One of my daughters that have ridden with me on the bike too said the same thing about how it's uncomfortable. So stock seat good, Lapera seat not so good. If you're checking the seat out, know that if you're riding by yourself or if you're riding without a backrest and a passenger, it should be okay. But if you're riding with a backrest and a passenger, that they're probably not going to love that. So, and this is something that I've complained about pretty much about every Harley that I've had, except for my Sportsters, where the gauges were up front, is the gauge here on the tank. I will complain about that till the day I die on Harley motorcycles. I love on the new lowrider that the gauge is right up here on the handlebars. That's great, but having it here on the tank, I mean, if you're riding with a full face helmet, which I always do, I've got to drop my head, and again, I can still look out the top, but the fact that I've got to drop my head to see my gauges, it's always been something that I haven't appreciated about Harleys, and something I don't appreciate about this Harley. All right, so now let's talk about the things that I do like, because there's a lot of things that I like about this motorcycle. The first thing is the riding position, the comfortability of the seat. I think as far as like riding the bike, this has been my favorite Harley that I've ever had. I've had three Sportsters. I had a Harley-Davidson Fat Bob, the Dyna Fat Bob, and now the Dyna Switchback. The riding position with these 10-inch risers and the floorboards. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is how you ride in comfort. I love with floorboards, and this is something that those of you who've ridden with floorboards before, maybe those of you that haven't, is that I can ride like more of like a mid. I can feel like I'm riding with like mid controls with my feet here, or I can just totally put my feet forward, and it takes a little bit more weight off of my legs. It doesn't necessarily feel like I'm propping them up like I see some riders do, and I'm not a big fan of that. But it's the ability to move my foot to different positions on that footboard really makes a difference. You know, especially on longer rides, I don't have to feel like I'm stuck in a certain position. It's one of the reasons I know that people like to ride with those big footrests, basically, that are coming off like a engine guard. But having these footboards makes it so that I can change positions and get comfortable, change my way that I'm riding. I guess the only thing I would add to making this bike more comfortable on a ride on the highway is cruise control. And I think, you know, 2014 was something asked quite a bit if you wanted to say they should have cruise control standard on a bike like this, especially at the price point. But I think that it's something Harley, I think, at their price point that Harley sells their motorcycles for, I think cruise control should be standard on any motorcycle, especially in a motorcycle that has footboards and is meant to ride for long distances. You know, Sportsters is one thing. You know, your breakout, which is a little bit more of a sporty feel to the bike. It doesn't necessarily lean over too well, and I don't know how comfortable you're going to be on a breakout for long distances. But the Fat Boy, the Heritage, I'm trying to think of the other non-touring motorcycles. Anyway, we're talking about close to $20,000 to start on a Harley-Davidson. The least they could do is throw in cruise control standard. Again, this isn't a complaint of mine, but it's just something that I wish that they would do. Now, also something that I like about this motorcycle is the windshield. You can take this portion off of the fairing, but then you've got these holes in the windshield, and I can almost guarantee that it's going to whistle from having those holes exposed. I know I could probably throw those rivets back in, but they don't seem like they would stay super well if they weren't actually holding this plastic piece in. So I don't know, it's something that, because I'm gonna sell this motorcycle, I don't want to make or tweak things to what I like. But as somebody who's owning this motorcycle now and riding it, I like the look of this front fairing setup. I haven't been able to find the exact brand of it, so if you guys are looking at the pictures here of the front fairing and you guys are like, oh, I know what that is, leave that in the comments for me. That'd do me a big favor. The Big Al's risers and the handlebars, I'm a big fan of too. So this whole front end setup, I love. The upside down telescopic front forks are way more comfortable than the front forks that I had that are just the typical front telescopic forks on the Fat Bob. This is, I mean, it feels luxurious. It really does. As well as the back, the rear shocks that are also adjustable, which, you know, you can adjust for preload. So when I'm riding with the passenger, we can make that adjustment. And with basically, I've had a spanner wrench set, and it's pretty simple to make the adjustment on the preload. Or if you're loading up with gear, if you're going on a long trip and you got a bunch of stuff in your bags. One of the other things that I do really like about this motorcycle is its versatility and the look of it. You know, we've got the Sport Glide, which I don't think that they're making new anymore, but you can still find Sport Glides out there. This was kind of like the first iteration of the Sport Glide, where you can ride with this fairing off, and it's really quick. I can take all of this stuff off in like 3 minutes. I can have all of the backrest, the front fairing, and the bags, the hard bags. All those things can go on and off in under 5 minutes. I think it takes me a little bit longer to put them on, but that's just because I like to be really thorough. You know, I don't want to miss latching something and end up having a problem. What I have heard is the bags on this motorcycle go for like hundreds of dollars per bag. You can sell them for because people will not lock the bag once they've put it on, and they'll just be riding, and then they'll hit a bump and the bag just comes right off. You know, it is nice that it's a quick on and off, but also it's something that I can see it being really easy to forget to lock that thing. It's kind of like seared into my memory. It's not something that I'm gonna do, and I don't ride with the bags on hardly at all. But if that's one of the things about the Switchback that you like, about having the bags on there, make sure that you're locking them into place, because it's really easy. It feels like it's nice and secure, but it's really easy. I mean, they just lift up and slide off. So yeah, you got to make sure that you lock those things on. But like I said, the overall versatility of the look of this motorcycle, where I could have bags, no fairing, I could have fairing, no bags, I could have backrest. You know, you could slap a different seat on here. It's one of those things that people love about Harley, but this kind of takes it to the next level with the Switchback and the Sport Glide as well, where like on the fly you can make this bike look like a different bike from day to day, and I love that. I call it my transformer. Another thing that I like about this bike is like all of the space I have up here to mount my different things, and also that they're protected from the elements. Also having a fairing, this is something that I have never had before on a Harley. I wear a baseball cap like all the time, is that I can just throw my cap right here inside the fairing. I don't have to tuck it into my pants anymore. I don't have to have my snapback latched onto my belt loop, where I've lost hats before because the snaps have come off. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like this is one of those hidden things about a bike with a fairing that I have come to appreciate, because now I don't have to worry about losing my hat. It's always right here. I don't have to look awkward as I'm pulling my hat out of my pants. So yeah, that's one of those nice like things that, you know, it's not something that's going to be a big deal for anybody, but for me it is a fairly big deal, and I love that about having a fairing here where I can just shove stuff. You know, same thing with it, like if I'm getting cold and I want to stuff another layer in there, if I don't have my bags on, which is another thing that I would have to store my stuff, then, you know, it's versatile. It's so versatile. We got some riders here. All right, guys, but that's all I've got. Overall, I really like this motorcycle. There's a part of me that thinks, you know, maybe I'll hang on to this, because, you know, as much as I love a Moto Guzzi, I want to baby that thing because it's in such good shape. And, you know, it's one of those things, like, I'm sure that if you have like a really nice car, that it hurts you sometimes to take it to the to take it to the store, and you probably want to park it in the middle of nowhere so no one touches it. Same thing goes for my Moto Guzzi. I don't like just taking it out just to take it out. But yeah, I love this bike because I feel like, because it's an older bike, you know, it's not perfect. It is in really good condition. You know, it has very minimal like surface scratches on the paint in certain areas. You know, it's a normal wear and tear on a bike that's 10 years old now. But other than that, this bike's in such good shape, and you know, it looks good. So there's a lot to love about it. There's a lot that I love about it. And if you guys have questions about the Switchback that I have not answered during this little breakdown of my impressions, this little short-term review, make sure you leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, and if I can't answer them, I will hunt that answer down for you. But guys, that's all I've got for you today. If you liked this video, you found it helpful, you enjoyed your time here, make sure you hit that thumbs up, which is the like button, and if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Guys, if you're out there riding, please be safe, be kind to one another. My name is Eric, I'm that one guy, and I am out.